There is no story in which anyone can live without challenges, without wounds and scars, but there is always an option. Love isn't easy, but it makes some things a lot easier. Love isn't easy, and it makes some things a lot harder, because it's a commitment to a person that is not just you. It's a commitment to a family that is not your own, and someday perhaps it's a commitment to a person or people born of your own love and your own creative desire. Love is a way of living in relationship. So through all the things that will come, the plenty and the want, the sickness and the health, the joy and the sorrow, it's a wonderful story to be in. Erik, will you have Emily to be your wife? And Emily, will you have Erik to be your husband, to live together in the covenant of marriage? Will you love each other, comfort each other, honor and keep each other in sickness and in health, and be faithful to each other as long as you both shall live?
We will. You got this one.
A fairy tale involves a hero and a heroine facing what appear to be insurmountable odds. But with a bit of creativity and some magical assistance, a solution can be found. In many fairy tales, there are beasts and there are beauties. Let's see.
I see where this is going.
You see where this is going? Okay. Well, I'm going to let everybody else decide on that, all right? In most fairy tales, there is a beast and a beauty somewhere along the line, but in most fairy tales, there is also a good and a bad. And this seems to be also true in real life. There is the presence of goodness and the presence of the opposite. There are powers and there are forces at work in our world, but they're not always what they seem. When we encounter them, and we will, then the question becomes, what do we do with them? So a lesson learned from fairy tales is that you continue to write your own story. I got one bone to pick with you. This wedding was so well planned in advance that I almost showed up a year ago here at this place. Specific time and specific place. I couldn't figure out why it was on a Monday, which was June 18th of last year. But then, who does? I mean, who in their right minds would do all the detailed planning years and years and years in advance? I mean, I'll tell you who does that. The writers of fairy tales do that. Okay? They write a great story about themselves. That's who does that. You do that because that's who you are. Fairy tales, after all, are reflections of real life. The obstacles that commitment to another person, the obstacles that commitment to another family can bring are very real. And things don't always work out like they do in movies or fairy tales, but if they do work out, it's because the characters in the story are willing and they're able, sometimes on their own and sometimes with the help of others, to face what appear to be insurmountable obstacles and work on them, and thus write the story that you want to be in. Let this ring that I place on your finger
Let this ring that I place on your finger
serve as a reminder that you are never again alone.
serve as a reminder that you are never again alone.
I give you my heart until the end of time.
I give you my heart until the end of time.
Now I'm going to ask you if you remember that first kiss when you were 4 years old.
We
do.
That was your first kiss. This is going to be your first kiss as a married couple, so why don't you go ahead and do that? Let me present to you Mr. and Mrs. Erik and Emily Lund.
I have dreamed of having an older sister for as long as I can remember, but none of those dreams compared to the reality of you. When I look back at memories from the past 5 years, Emily has been there through all of it. You have always been there to give me a hug in all of the tears and all of the smiles. There is nobody else I would rather share a hotel with at a robotics competition, travel to Appleton with, or share a canoe with in the Boundary Waters. Even though I always wanted a sister, I was always so grateful for my brothers. They are my biggest role models, my greatest advisors, and my best friends. Erik, I could not be more proud to be your little sister. Just when I thought Erik couldn't get any better, he brought Emily home. You two grew up together, and now it's time to grow old together.
I've had the privilege of watching him grow up into the best man that I know. Erik's always been a great older brother to me, and we shared a lot growing up together. We shared the controller playing PS2, we shared mountain bike trails, and we shared chairlifts together. We even shared our first car together, the Bro-mobile, which was soon replaced by our first truck together, the Bro Runner. Emily, you are so full of kindness and patience, and I am honored to welcome you into our family. Welcome to the family, Emily. Here's to my best friend and the love of his life, Erik and Emily.